Hello everybody, welcome to another unboxing. Today, not a diecast. Show you what we got. Alright. Here we go. Alright, what I have here is a Carrera 1/32 scale Ford Torino Talladega. This car was driven by David Pearson. He won the championship that year, and this is the model of the car that he drove. I've been collecting the slot cars now for a couple of years, and this is just one of the latest ones that I got. I can get the damn thing out of the box, take a good look at it. Alright, so here we go. So the Talladega was a droop-nosed Fairlane Torino. In 1968-69, the Fairlane birthed the Torino model, and the Talladega was the aero answer by Ford to the Dodge Daytona, and then later on the Plymouth Superbird. Now the interesting thing is that when Dodge came out with the Daytona, Richard Petty said to Chrysler, "Hey, I need a wing car too." And their answer to him was, "Oh, you can't have one of those. That's a Dodge. You drive Plymouth." He's like, "Well, I either get a wing car or I go somewhere else." And they're like, "Oh, sure, you're not going anywhere." Well, guess what? Richard fooled the hell out of them, and he bought himself a Torino Talladega that he drove in the 1969 season, and was the only time in his career as a driver that he drove a Ford. One season, and he did fairly well in the car, but David, who was his top rival, won the championship that season. And this was the car that did it. And as you can see, the cars back in the day, when they called them stock cars, were pretty damn close to being stock cars. I've got several of these now, and a nice one to add into the collection, and hopefully I can keep adding more. And as I do, I'll be making more videos documenting them, and hopefully you can see it's got pretty good detail in there. It's got a fire bottle, 4-speed shifter on the floor, roll bars, rear view mirror. So I mean, for a little diecast, or I'm sorry, not a diecast again, but a slot car, this has pretty damn good detail. And that's the thing I noticed when I started in collecting these again. I was into the AFX cars back when I was a teenager, and recently got back into the slot car scene with the 1/32 scale cars, that I was amazed at the detail involved. These are more almost on a diecast level of detail than just a slot car toy that you would think. Some of these cars, now there's some that are way more detailed than even this, but for what it is and when this was made, because this is an old tool. I mean, these tooling's been around for 20 years. I think Carrera has been using this tool and the tool for the Charger Daytona, the Roadrunner, and the Roadrunner Superbirds of this era. And those are old tools, and they still sell. Every one they put out, they seem to do pretty well with. They don't oversaturate the market every year. They might put out 4, maybe 5 cars a year for the vintage NASCAR stuff. And at some point, I hope either Carrera or someone else will decide to tackle the later 70s cars. You know, where you had the next generation of Torinos and the Gran Torino for Ford, the Cyclone Montego for Mercury, the next generation, the fuselage body Chargers and Roadrunners, and of course then Chevrolet jumped back in with the Monte Carlo, the Laguna / Chevelle, and then back again to the Monte Carlo. Even the AMC Matador, 2 different versions of that. The Flying Brick that Donahue drove, and later on the Matador Coupe that Bobby Allison and Dave Marcus both drove for Roger Penske. So hopefully somebody will be brave enough to take that on and bring those cars to market. Hopefully they'll do as well as these have seemed to do for Carrera. And we'll see. All right, that's going to be it for this video, and we'll bring it to the next one. All right, have a good one, guys.